Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here. Wrestling! Let's go with that. This judge is so stupid. And hello, everybody. We are almost done with the very first Phoenix Wright trilogy game. There we go. Episode 5, Rise from the Ashes. Final day. We're on the final day of the final trial in the first game of the trilogy. And I'm looking forward to seeing if we're gonna put this Gant person in jail because he's very sus. He is extremely sus. February 25th, 9:47 a.m. This is the defendant lobby, all right, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? Wait, did she run away? I hope not. Because the thing is, right, she's been under Gant's control for who knows how long, 2 years at least. She admitted to the stabbing, but also at the same time, she said that the body was already dead with a different knife in the body. So she removed the knife that actually killed him and put a different knife in. And she admitted to the killing. However, she was just following orders from somebody else. So we're here to expose exactly what is happening here, the truth in this case. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth! Hey, buddy.
Hello.
Hi, Edgeworth. Good to see you. Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of 777's ID number is, that is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. So, what's your deal, Edgeworth? Are you here to uncover the truth? Or are you here to get a guilty verdict? You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True. Not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, Wright, and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. 5 minutes. I like how his eyeball is going over his hair. He's got very swooshy hair. But she didn't do it. I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, right? Yeah, why the hell were you in there, dude? This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. She's taken the fall for the murder that she didn't technically commit. What kind of dirt does he have? This is getting real good. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant! You're very suspicious, sir. Why does he take such a long pause before he moves on to the next statement? That's my question. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Udgy, been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? Edgeworth, will you marry me? That kind of proposal, maybe? If you don't mind me asking, what is this proposal of yours? He takes forever to respond. Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request, and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Nope, that's not gonna happen. Absolutely not, ma'am. We're gonna keep going and I'm gonna get you a not guilty verdict, okay? That's what's gonna happen. You're not gonna go to jail on my watch. I confess to all charges against me. No, you don't. You're not guilty. You admitted it to me. You didn't do it. The body was already dead. I always knew this was really suspicious when we looked at this and it said, died within an hour and a half of 4 p.m. So the dude was killed in the evidence room around 4 p.m., 4:20, whatever. Secretly got his body into Edgeworth's car. Does Edgeworth know about this? That's the real question. Does Edgeworth know that there was a dead body in his car when he parked it in the prosecutor's office? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman. But you didn't, he was already dead. In the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lana! What is she holding anyway? You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana! Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. Why is she admitting to this? She didn't do it. She knows she didn't do it. She admitted to me at the detention office that she didn't do it. But there's something very serious going on in the background. If she's admitting to the crime even though she didn't do it, what does Gant have on her? There's some serious blackmail, some serious, like, marionette puppeting going on in the background. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. We're gonna get Gant convicted. He's gonna be put away.
Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop your fucking lying.
Circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court defines the defendant. Edgeworth, I knew you had it in you. One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. And that's the thing, right? If there's reasonable doubt, you can't put someone away for life or to execution if there is some reasonable doubt that they didn't do it. How would you feel if you killed someone for a crime they didn't do? How would you feel if you put someone away for the rest of their life for a crime they didn't do? That wouldn't feel great. It needs to be absolute, hardcore, solid evidence that the person in question committed a crime. Apparently, admitting to the crime isn't enough. You can say that you killed someone, but if you didn't kill them, then you deserve to have the truth come out. Like, you didn't kill them, and even if you admitted to it, that shouldn't be enough to put you away. Because you didn't actually do it. Prosecutor has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling and I'm just gonna keep playing the game. Sorry about my rambling. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Welly. I understand this is a difficult time for you. But why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, No, Gant. I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. You would have me be. There we go. I know how to say words. I'm very good at words. I'm very good at wordsing, okay? With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Change? Oh? To whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. Yeah, that's the thing, right? We found a piece of leather with Emma's fingerprints on it. So what the hell is going on with that? I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. Is Emma Skye gonna prosecute against her sister? Does Emma Skye even know what the hell is happening right now? She is 16. She's still a child, technically, legally speaking. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy. You'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Wow, that sounds like a threat. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Is that how you say reins? Like that? Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then. You sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. Uh-oh. Where is this going? The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Are all of the trials in the following games going to be this complicated? Because Jesus. 2 years ago. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. No, that's not true, is it? Didn't he get stabbed in the back? He was stabbed in the back, wasn't he? Yeah, stabbed in the back. Okay, so we already have a contradiction. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. I hope this doesn't result in Emma going the person instead. She was only 14. She's traumatized, okay? However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Do we even need to press, or can I just present the contradiction immediately? Finally saving over this. So what if I just present right away? Ma'am? The witness's statement is clearly faulty, Your Honor. What do you mean? How is that wrong? How is that wrong? Stabbed Marshall in the chest. Did I present the wrong evidence? Stabbed in the back. How is that wrong? This game makes no sense. I'm not losing a point over that. That should absolutely count. That's bullshit. Alright, I'm just gonna press again. Whatever, who cares? 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct? Yes. She was second in command under the then Deputy Chief of Police Gant. My sister. She was the best detective ever. Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Skye used to be quite the pair. I believe they shared the same office. That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work. A man came running in and took me hostage. A man? Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Skye and Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. Neil Marshall rescued me. What was the prosecutor doing there? That day, there were 2 people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Almost forgot about Gant. Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. And there's the vase! I still think there's something very suspicious about the knife in there. But also, the spear that the suit of armor has. If you see that, there's a spear with the suit of armor. Maybe that comes into play in some way. I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark. When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead. And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in? I don't clearly remember what happened then. But I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on, and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then lightning flashed outside again. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. Oh, wait a minute. Could it be this picture? A picture is drawn on the back of the evidence list in magic marker. I've got a very bad feeling about this. Did she draw this picture, I wonder? A picture. Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Miss Wright, have you heard enough? Ask about the picture. This picture the witness drew. I believe it has a very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. Okay, before I do anything, I'm gonna save. Would it happen to be this picture? Mr. Edgeworth? This little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Please, turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over? Turn it... Ah! What's this? Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it! That's the picture I drew. Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here. Wrestling! Let's go with that. This judge is a dumbass. Oh my god. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh. These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What? Order, order. But Miss Skye, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor? Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. How does that look? Does it look like that? Maybe a little bit? If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see. Did he never just turn the paper over? Do you even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that thing. Oh, what? Oh. The blue badger? That's that thing. That thing that was dancing in the evidence room. Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. A beholder! Although, I have to know when that was drawn on the paper. Bob, hello!
Good morning!
How you doing, Bob? I guess he was out of scrap paper. Evidence list restored and updated in the court record. List of evidence in the SL9 incident. Half of this list was found in Gant's desk. Very well. Witness, will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. Witness testimony. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Emma's picture. The thing is right. She mentioned seeing someone get stabbed in the back. No, she said someone got stabbed in the front. We presented the autopsy report saying he was stabbed in the back, but apparently that wasn't relevant. I'm still upset that I lost a point on completely reasonable contradictional evidence. Whatever, it's fine. This game makes no sense sometimes. Emma's picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. I'm gonna save again. Did you draw this picture right after the incident? I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Skye. 2 or 3 days later. The memory should still have been fresh in her mind. Excuse me, witness. But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black? You have to handhold the judge through logic. This judge is so stupid. How did he become a judge? Well, you see, sir, I only had black crayons at the time. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. So at the time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue? No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor? Dark had such a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when I saw the lightning flashed. But that's the thing, right? The hair looks a little strange, doesn't it? Don't y'all think the hair looks strange? Oh! Vapor Void has summoned in some guests for us. Let's compare this hair to that of Joe Dark. But also, Gantz kind of has the same hairdo, doesn't he? Convenient that we can't see their face. So they were holding the knife in their left hand, were they? Wonder if that matters. My friends, Vapor Void, hello.
Hello, nurse.
Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed? After that, I must have fainted. You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place? No, I'm sorry. The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further? What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here. Anyway, this picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course! This is the exact scene. It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives? Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? You used the neuralizer on her? No, of course not. I'd better watch out, or he might find some way to cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Huh? Oh, well... That's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. So my guess is that we're gonna have to present something, aren't we? This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. So it's a piece of leather and has Emma's prints on it. A clear handprint can be seen on the leather cloth. The print belongs to Emma. I think I'll keep this information to myself. Because that might incriminate her, you think? Wait, what if this is a piece of leather from Neil Marshall's costume, right? Huh. Something seems a little odd, doesn't it? So this picture is combined or whatever, right? What if that weird symbol, which happens to be the outline of the blue badger, was actually part of the, like a stained glass outline or something? Is that the window? Or something? What's up there? But it appears as though Damon Gant is also wearing gloves, isn't he? The sword part of that award is missing, but also the jar is broken in the back. So what does that even mean? Stabbed in the back, died from a punctured heart and lung. A knife tip was found in the wound. The deceased Neil Marshall, 27 male, date and time of death between 7 and 7:30 p.m. February 19th. It's almost 2 years to the day. Single stab wound, piercing heart and lung. Died from blood loss in under 10 minutes. Weapon found in wound was missing tip. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Because I'm looking at that. The knife, it looks like a square. Was it missing the tip at the time? So what if I presented this, showing that the knife tip was missing. Knife tip was in the wound, stabbed in the back. Can you imagine if we were actually in the courtroom and we were like going over the evidence in silence for like 2 entire minutes, and then it's like, objection! This drawing is wrong. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture, the witness true, contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? The weapon!
Take that!
The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see that its tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely at that, Mr. Wright. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was a conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Ah! What's the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right, but what does this mean? The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. Look at all this back and forth between you two. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already about a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Ah! It's getting serious now, isn't it? Order, order, order. Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me once again to go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story, there is a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. I'm thinking it was the spear from the suit of armor that was in there. Also, Gabe Velasquez, if I'm saying your name right, welcome in. Hello.
Good morning, motherfucker!
Oh, we're doing good today. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife beside Joe Dark's? Could there have been one? Emma's mistaken, or there is another one? Can we look at our records again? Edgeworth's knife. The murder weapon, usually in Edgeworth's toolbox, traces of victim's blood, no prints. Were there two broken knives? Or maybe this was the knife used in the other murder. I'm still thinking maybe it was the broken off sword part on there. There is another one? Well, let's go ahead and save just in case I'm wrong. So either Emma's wrong, or there is another knife. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright? In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume, then, that you have some information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. The halberd was removed from Gant's behest, giving it its current form. I think... Are we looking at this picture? Should I present this picture showing the knife still intact on the shield? I'm gonna try. This could be wrong. Either this, or I present this. Although, if it was a broken knife, we wouldn't present this, would we? The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here, inside this picture. This is a picture of the awards ceremony. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award prosecutor Marshall is holding. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. But it was removed at Gant's behest, so Gant is still behind it, right? Order, order, order! Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. Good point. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh? And why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising the knife would have to have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh! But the prosecutor was the only one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? Maybe he was stabbed by the spear that the suit of armor is holding. That's still my theory going on. They wouldn't prominently display it in the picture if that weren't involved. Because look at this freaking picture. Look how prominently that spear is in the picture. It has to be involved in some way. It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Hold it! Wait! I remember now. I remember everything. Witness? Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? His list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back? I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. Yeah. What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. All this time, I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Skye? Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up, and now the blue badger? This should be interesting. Emma's recollection. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed toward both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. What? This is certainly most unusual. Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense... Stop, please. Don't pursue this any further. Lana, what are you doing, girl? You're so sus right now. Lana, I forgot she was in the room, actually. What's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Sky. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of this matter. We're getting there. All right, I'm going to have a little bit of a water break. So I'm going to go ahead and play a couple of clips for you, and we're going to take a 90-second recess. All right? I will see you all very, very soon. Enjoy these clips for now.